So this is a different kind of video for the channel. I like switching it up. I like trying new things, and I like making videos that I like making. So this is a POV video, as you can see right now. I want to check if it's recording. It's recording. You can see my reflection. And this is a ownership review of this IS300. This is my 2005 Lexus IS300, and I've owned it for 4 years now, going on 5. I bought it as a 16-year-old on around June of 2020, so like the height of COVID. But I got a good deal on it. It came with the tint, it came with the exhaust, it came with the coilovers, and it had a few issues with it that made me get it at a really good price, such as the driver's side door handle not working, an O2 sensor that was going out on the mid pipe, as well as just dead tires, just completely dead tires. They were like the metal bands were showing. So yeah, with that intro out of the way, we're gonna move on to what this car is. It is a luxury car that was sold in the US, marketed towards businessmen, businesswomen who wanted something smooth, who wanted something fun to drive around to the office and back. It was also a competitor. It was also a competitor for the BMW 3 Series. So since it came in the United States, it came with a smooth revving, very balanced inline 6, y'all may know, called the 2JZ. So yes, it's not the 2JZ Turbo that came in the Supras, but it is a naturally aspirated version that did the job. It produced 215 horsepower, 225 foot-pounds of torque, which to the wheels is like 160 horsepower if you're lucky. So yeah, it does the job for me. What I use this car for is taking it to the drift track, sliding around, having fun. Unfortunately, I will have to rebuild the engine this month because cylinder 5 is not holding compression, and it's not holding as much compression as it should. So with that, let's go to the interior. I know it's messy under here. Sorry, I did not prepare for this video at all. This was just a spontaneous idea. Look at how many bug marks there are, just scattered all over the place. So the mods that I've done to it personally is I've corrected the fitment to what I like. I've put a angle kit on it on the front, some rear upper arms from FDF to adjust the camber, as well as putting a manual transmission inside. So this was an auto car to begin with. Now it's a manual car. I've also added that charger right there and just a few knickknacks. So this bucket seat, that bucket seat, I'll make a video on those some other time, maybe next week. And yes, the paint is messy and there's scratches all over the place. But what do you expect? It's a car for a 16-year-old kid who doesn't know how to work on cars, which this car has taught me a lot. So with that, let's move on to the interior. As you can see, there's 3 pedals there. I've added Willwood pedal plates, so that helps. This switch does nothing right now, but I plan on linking it to the radiator fans as an override. And other than that, the interior is pretty clean. It's a full black leather interior that I've put bucket seats in, safety, equipment, you know, the manual transmission. It's just a basic, you know, black on black, very simple, very clean interior. The rear seats are surprisingly soft and comfortable to sit in if you're not over 5'11". All right, and to the trunk. So I could fit 4 tires in this trunk, as well as a bunch of tools to go to the track, and it does the job. It's enough space. You could fit, I don't know, allegedly 2.5 bodies, who knows. So yeah, that's the trunk. Now let's get to driving this car. I have to unplug the Bluetooth adapter that I have so it doesn't link to my lav mic. Now that we're in the car, we could actually start it up and see how it drives. So key in, make sure it's in neutral, and start it up. excuse that. The check engine light is for, I think, yeah, it's for misfire because of my low compression in cylinder 5. Other than that, other than these few mods, the car is relatively stock power, no engine modifications. So let's go on for a drive. So, do I recommend this car as a beginner car for your 16-year-old kid, or if you're watching this as a 16-year-old, do I recommend it? I mean, it's a Toyota. You know, it's not a Lexus. It's basically a Toyota. It was sold as the Altezza in Japan. So, of course, I'd recommend this because any Toyota, Honda, and maybe Nissan is a perfect starter car for you. And especially this being rear-wheel drive, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of things that you could learn mechanically, such as maintenance, as changing the brakes, fluids, etc., even up to manual swapping, and a bunch of fundamentals when driving, such as understeer and oversteer, because in my opinion, I don't enjoy driving front-wheel drive cars. I haven't driven many fun front-wheel drive cars, but I've always been a rear-wheel drive, that's hard to say, rear wheel drive fanatic. There you go. So yeah, I've always enjoyed the dynamic of having a front engine rear wheel drive, I don't know why that's so difficult to say today, car, but yeah, it's a perfect beginner car, even if it's in an automatic, because it gets pretty okay fuel economy, 18 in the city, like you should get 24 or 25 on the highway. The only gripe that I have is it only takes 93, and that's very important because it's a high compression engine. It requires a higher octane, and yes, that's a little bit more money, but that means your kid won't travel farther because he won't have that gas money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a perfect beginner car because from the factory it comes with, in my opinion, too many airbags, but a lot of airbags. Current airbag over there, airbag over here, here, even on the stock seats, which I've removed for, of course, buckets. But there's airbags basically everywhere in this car, and this car weighs like 3,500 pounds, 3,200 pounds, depending on the trim. So it's quite stout. It's not a coffin, let's say. So like it will hold its own with other cars on the road. It has it's a little chubby, let's say that, you know. But yeah, this car went from a normal, you know, business casual car to go to the office and back to like a pretty peppy sports car after the modifications that I've done, especially the manual transmission. I don't know, just choosing what gear you're in really helps with the peppiness, how alive the car is. And if you look at my channel right now, this video is, I think, my first POV video, but I also use this camera on the track. So right now we're just gonna drive around, and I'm gonna talk about the problems that I've encountered with this car. There's not many problems with this chassis, other than leaking oil from the valve gaskets or any other orifice or any other seal that, you know, hasn't been maintained. Just simple stuff like leaking oil. You do need to change the timing belt after 120,000 miles, and a lot of people don't. That's just a preventative maintenance for the future, and while you're in there, might as well do the tensioner and water pump, which is quite easy. And another problem that these cars have is the sticky dash. So these cars have this film on the dash that will melt on the 2002 to 2005 models, and it'll just become sticky. I got lucky, and I have zero sticky dash. Whoever owned this car before, it seems like they either took it to the dealer to get taken care of, or they took care of it themselves. So I got pretty lucky with that. So other than the sticky dash, of course, with any old car, leaking oil from different gaskets, and I think that's about it, to be honest. And the timing belt, just basic maintenance. These cars will run forever. Right now I have 208,000 miles barely giving me any problems, but I also do keep up with the maintenance. I replace all the spark plugs at the intervals. I replace all the gaskets. You know, the only reason that I lost compression on cylinder 5 is because I got stuck in a flash flood and the engine took in some water. So we've discussed the common problems as well as the stuff that I've done to the car. So let's talk about the minuscule things that a lot of people don't want to talk about with this car, which is either common sense to some or to me was not common sense. Over 200,000 miles, you will clog the catalytic converters, and mine are not that clogged, but you could feel it just be sluggish. So you might want to get those either cleaned or replace them, or get a header, which is just a catless header. You know, that's just strictly for racing use. You could get that, or you could just replace it with brand new catalytic converters. I think I've already said that. The crank hub pulley is another problem. They tend to separate after a lot of abuse and a lot of time. So just make sure that yours is not wiggling, yours is not loose. So just make sure that is okay. Other than, yeah, I think the cats. Oh yeah, there's a few sensors near the throttle body that can cause some stuttering or some hesitation while you're driving. So you may need to check those and clean them or replace them. So like the app sensor, the throttle positioning sensor, as well as the MAF on the intake, those need to be looked at every now and then. Just make sure they're clean. And I bet y'all are asking, how does this car drive? And yes, it's a heavy car compared to like Miatas or like, I don't know, other sporty cars that are two doors. But it's actually pretty light after taking some weight out of it. Like the seats, each of the seats are either 45 pounds each or 65 pounds each, but the leather electronic seats are actually very, very heavy. Take those out, you will feel a difference. You know, put some coilovers on the car. I recommend BC Racing because they're entry level, and that's all the adjustability that you need, you know, starting off. Get some sway bars, front and rear sway bars. That helps a bunch with the body roll and stuff. So try that out. You could also get a good set of tires, which I just run drift spares, but you could get some Continental tires, and that will definitely make a difference. My voice is getting dry. I wish I brought some water. Wow. This is my first POV style talking video. So my mouth is, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all like this content, because this is different. This is, I don't know, new. I always like to switch things up a bit and see what y'all like to see. You know, I've always loved watching POV videos, especially late at night. As like a teenager, I would just like stay up watching like POV drift footage, POV rally footage, POV people talking about random cars, like the Dacia Sandero, you know what I'm saying? Look at that three-wheeled Harley ahead. Make sure I give him some room. Yeah, I currently run Megan Racing coilovers on this car, which, I'll be honest, they're not the best. I mean, every cheap coilover is fine until you hit a rapid succession of bumps and potholes. Then you really feel it. Literally, you really feel the difference between a good coilover and a bad coilover. So I believe it's really smart to invest in a quality coilover, like either some BCs, or if you have the budget, some more expensive coilover, like a street coilover. Let y'all listen to the sound of the car if y'all could hear it. And yes, this is a 5-speed car. I got this transmission from a person who rebuilt it and it was from a SC300. So the W58s, which is what this transmission is, came in the SC300s, the Mark IV Supras, the Mark III Supras, the Mark II Supras, the Celica, the old Celicas, and I think that's it. But the IS300s came with that W55, which is much, much weaker. This is just a peaceful route that I take. It's fall now in Alabama, which I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm in Alabama. Or you know how some YouTubers say, oh yeah, I don't want people to know my location. I'm in Alabama. It's beautiful now. The weather's cooling down. It's 70 degrees. It's almost December, which is wild. Winter in Alabama starts in January, February for some reason. But yeah, it's beautiful out right now. It's a great day. So I decided to take this car out on a drive, talk to y'all, see what y'all want to see. You know what I'm saying? I drive this car every single weekend, back and forth 2 hours from school. So that is 100 miles. I put 200 miles every single week. I also take this car to the drift track, and it does great. It's a beautiful all-rounder starter car for any 16-year-old, any 18-year-old. It really taught me everything I know about working on cars, to how to change my oil, which I didn't even know how to do. I knew how to change brake pads, that's about it, but changing your oil, now I've learned how to drop a transmission under 2 hours with my friends, and I'm still learning every single day, still learning. I bolted an angle kit on here, I learned how to drive with this car, all that kind of stuff, and I'm not getting emotional. My throat is just getting dry. So, yeah. If y'all like these kind of POV style videos, and if you want me to go more in depth about the driving feel of this car, let me know. Or if you want me to drive some other cool cars like drift cars or race cars or drag cars or whoever's cars, let me know. I'll start making some more POV videos. So make sure that the subscribe button is hit. I forgot what color it changes to. And make sure the bell icon is also clicked. That's the first time I'm saying it. It feels weird. But yeah, if you like this kind of video, comment below. Let me know what I should do next. And peace.